The air inside the temple is heavy, and it smells of ancient ash mixed with sweet oil. It smells of a burden that has rested on your shoulders since you were 6 years old. You are standing in the circular sanctuary of Vesta. The marble floor is cool beneath your sandals, and the walls curve around you like a protective shell. But tonight, the walls do not feel like protection. They feel like the rim of a closing eye. You stare at the fire, which is the heart of Rome. It is the living, breathing soul of the empire. As long as this flame dances on the hearth, Rome will not fall. The legions will march, the grain will grow, and the Senate will rule. That is the promise. You are the keeper of that promise because you are a Vestal Virgin. You are one of 6 women chosen from the noblest bloodlines to guard this sacred flame. But tonight, the fire looks different. It casts long and trembling shadows against the columns, and you feed it another log. Your hands are steady because they have to be steady. A Vestal does not tremble. A Vestal is the image of perfection, yet you can feel a vibration in the floor that has nothing to do with the fire. It is the sound of the city outside. Rome is awake and Rome is angry. There have been whispers for weeks. You have seen the way the other priestesses look at you. They glance at your hem to see if it is too long or too short, and they watch how you speak to the slaves or how you smile. In this holy house, every movement is a symbol and every breath is a ritual. Lately, the air has grown thin. You hear the heavy thud of the bronze doors opening, and the sound echoes through the circular chamber. It is not the hour for the changing of the guard, nor is it the hour for prayer. The wind from the street rushes in and makes the sacred fire hiss. You turn around. Standing in the doorway is the Pontifex Maximus, the high priest of Rome. Behind him are the lictors. They hold the fasces, which are the bundle of rods, and the axe that symbolize life and death. The high priest does not bow to the fire. He looks past the flames, and he looks directly at you. His face is a mask of stone. In his eyes, you do not see the fatherly warmth he showed you when you were a child, and you do not see the reverence the people usually show your white robes. You see only judgment. You see a calculation. Rome has suffered lately, and the gods are angry. The legions have faltered at the border, and the rain has not come. When the gods are angry, it means the link has been broken. It means the purity protecting the city has been stained. He steps forward, and the lictors step with him. The space between you and the door shrinks. You want to speak and ask what is happening, but your throat is tight. You know what is happening. You have heard the stories of the others and the ones who came before you, the ones whose names are whispered in terror. The high priest raises a hand and points a finger at you. It feels sharper than a spear. You have spent your life guarding Rome's fire. But tonight, Rome has decided to extinguish you. To understand why this moment is the end of your world, you must remember the beginning. You must remember what it means to be what you are. You were not always a symbol. Once you were just a girl, and you were a child of a noble house playing in the gardens of your father's villa. You had a name that belonged only to you. You had a future that involved a husband, children, and a normal life. But the gods had other plans. When you were barely old enough to read, the high priest came to your home. He walked through the atrium with the weight of the state behind him. He looked at you, and he looked at your sisters, and he chose you. It was an honor. That is what your father said as he wept with pride because it was the greatest honor a Roman woman could achieve. To be chosen as a Vestal is to be lifted above the mortal realm. You were taken from your father's authority, which was a rare thing. In Rome, a woman always belongs to a man. She belongs to her father, and then she belongs to her husband, but not you. The moment the high priest took your hand and said the ritual words, you became free of men. He said, "I take you, Amata." He called you beloved. He cut your hair. He dressed you in the white robes of the priesthood. He placed the vitae headbands in your hair. You were 6 years old, and you were taken to the house of the Vestals in the Forum, the very heart of the city. For 30 years, you promised your body and your soul to the goddess Vesta. 10 years to learn, 10 years to serve, and 10 years to teach. 30 years of absolute purity. In exchange, Rome gave you power. You walk through the streets, and the crowds part for you like the Red Sea. A lictor walks before you to clear the way. Even the highest magistrates must lower their fasces when you pass. If you see a criminal on his way to execution, you can pardon him with a single word. You can own property, and you can make a will. You are among the only women in Rome who are truly citizens in your own right. You sit in the best seats at the Colosseum. You watch the gladiators fight, and the emperors wave to you. You are the luck of the empire. You are the guarantee that Rome will stand forever. But there is a price, because there is always a price. The price is your humanity. You are not allowed to be a person. You are a vessel. You are a container for the sacred. The Romans believe that the safety of the state depends on the safety of your body. If the fire goes out, it is a bad omen. But if you break your vow of chastity, it is a catastrophe. It is called incestum. It is not just adultery. It is a cosmic crime. It means you have polluted the relationship between Rome and the gods. You live in a golden cage. The atrium Vestae is beautiful. It has gardens and statues and pools of water, but it is still a cage. You are watched constantly. The servants watch. The other Vestals watch. The high priest watches. Every conversation you have with a man is analyzed, and every smile is weighed. You grow up knowing that you are the most protected woman in the world. But you also know that you are walking on the edge of a razor. The higher the pedestal, the farther the drop. And now, as you stand before the Pontifex Maximus in the flickering light of the temple, you realize that the drop has begun. This is the part Rome wants you to remember. They want you to remember the glory and the white robes and the sacred fire. But what comes next is what they tried to bury. It starts with a rumor. And it always starts with a rumor. Perhaps a slave was tortured for information. In Rome, the testimony of a slave is only valid if it is given under torture. Perhaps a servant heard a whisper. Perhaps you were seen talking to a young nobleman for too long. Perhaps you looked too happy, or perhaps you looked too sad. The accusation does not come out in the open at first. It slithers through the forum. People stop looking you in the eye. When you walk through the streets, the crowds still part, but the silence is different. It is heavy, and it is scary. They are afraid that your touch is no longer a blessing. They are afraid it is a curse. Rome is a superstitious city. If the harvest fails, it is because the gods are angry. If the army loses a battle, it is because the gods are angry. And why are the gods angry? They are angry because the sacred fire is not pure. And why is the fire not pure? Because you are not pure. The logic is terrifyingly simple. You become the scapegoat for every misfortune that befalls the empire. The investigation is a nightmare. You are summoned to Regia, which is the headquarters of the Pontifex Maximus. You stand before the College of Pontiffs. These are the most powerful men in Rome. They are senators, generals, and priests. They look at you with cold eyes. They ask you questions you cannot answer. They ask about your movements, and they ask about your thoughts. They ask about your dreams. You try to defend yourself. You swear by Vesta that you are innocent. You swear by the fire you have guarded for 20 years. You tell them you have kept your vows, and you tell them your body is untouched. But how do you prove a negative? How do you prove that something did not happen? They bring in the witnesses. They bring in the slaves who have been broken on the rack. The slaves will say whatever the torturer wants them to say. They scream out names, and they scream out times and places. You listen in horror as a story is woven around you, a story of secret meetings and a story of betrayal, a story of a lover who crept into the sacred house. It does not matter if it is true. It only matters if it is believed. And they want to believe it because they need to believe it. Rome needs to be cleansed, and you are the stain that must be washed away. You look at the high priest. You remember the day he took your hand when you were a child. You remember the pride in your father's eyes. That pride is gone now. If you are guilty, your family is disgraced, and your name will be erased. The trial is not a legal proceeding. It is a religious diagnosis. They are not looking for facts. They are looking for signs. They interpret the flight of birds, and they interpret the entrails of sacrifices. Everything points to your guilt because fear makes them see guilt everywhere. Every look feels like an accusation, and every silence feels like a verdict. You stand there in your white robes, and you realize that the white is no longer a symbol of purity. It is the color of a shroud. The verdict is delivered. Incestum, unchaste. The word hangs in the air like smoke. It is final. There is no appeal. You cannot go to the emperor, and you cannot go to the people. The priests have spoken, and the gods have spoken through them. You have been found guilty of treason against heaven. Most people think the story ends with the verdict. They assume the punishment is swift. They are wrong. The horror is only just beginning. The punishment for a Vestal Virgin is not like the punishment for other women. An adulteress might be banished, or she might lose her property, but you are not just a woman. You are a sacred object that has been broken. And a broken sacred object cannot just be thrown away. It must be disposed of ritually. They cannot kill you. That is the great hypocrisy of Roman law. It is forbidden to spill the blood of a Vestal Virgin. Your body is still holy, even if it is polluted. To strike you with an axe or a sword would be a crime. It would bring the wrath of the Furies down upon the executioner. So they have found a way to kill you without killing you. They will give you back to the earth. The day comes. It is a day of mourning for the entire city. The shops are closed and the courts are silent. The streets are lined with thousands of people. But they are not cheering. They are weeping. They cover their heads and they turn their eyes away. You are stripped of your priestly ribbons. The vitae are taken from your hair. You are dressed in simple funeral clothes. They bind you and place you in a covered litter. It is a hearse, but you are breathing. You can hear the sounds of the city through the curtains. You can hear the sobbing of your family, and you can hear the shuffling of feet. The procession moves slowly through the forum. It winds its way toward the Colline Gate. This is the edge of the city. Just inside the walls, there is a place called the Campus Sceleratus, the evil field. It is a place of bad omens and a place where the earth is hungry. You lie in the dark of the litter. Your heart is hammering against your ribs. You try to pray to Vesta, but the words stick in your throat. Has she abandoned you, or is this her will? You feel the litter stop. The curtains are pulled back. The light hurts your eyes. You see the sky one last time. It is a brilliant, unfeeling blue. You see the high priest standing there. He raises his hands to the heavens and he says a prayer in a low voice. He does not look at you. He is sending you to the underworld. He is giving you to the gods below. The lictors unbind you. They lead you to the hole in the ground. It is a small opening, a square of darkness in the grassy field. A ladder descends into the earth. You look down. You can see the flicker of a lamp at the bottom. This is your tomb. But you are not dead. You are warm. Your blood is pumping. Your mind is racing. You want to scream, and you want to fight. You want to grab the knees of the high priest and beg for mercy. You want to confess to crimes you did not commit just to face a quick death. A sword would be a kindness, and a rope would be a mercy. But you are a daughter of Rome. You have been trained for discipline. You have been trained for dignity. You do not scream, and you do not fight. You step onto the ladder. The descent is slow. Each step takes you further from the world of the living. The air gets colder. The sounds of the city get muffled. You reach the bottom. The chamber is small. It is carved out of the earth. The walls are damp soil. There is a bed, and there is a small table. On the table, there is a loaf of bread, a pitcher of water, and a vessel of milk. A lamp with a little oil. This is the final cruelty. This is the technicality that saves Rome's conscience. They are not starving you. They are not killing you. They are leaving you with provisions. If the gods want to save you, they can. If Vesta believes you are innocent, she will perform a miracle. That is what they tell themselves. But you know the truth. There will be no miracle. You stand in the center of the small room. You look up at the square of light above you. You see the faces of the executioners peering down. They look like giants. They pull up the ladder. The wood scrapes against the dirt. The sound is loud in the small space. Then, the earth begins to fall. They are filling in the shaft. The light begins to dim. The square of blue sky gets smaller and smaller. The sound of the dirt hitting the timber roof of your chamber is heavy and dull. Thud, thud, thud. It is the sound of a door closing forever. You watch the last patch of light disappear. Darkness rushes in to fill the space. Absolute darkness. The only light comes from the small oil lamp on the table. Its tiny flame is the only thing keeping the madness at bay. You sit on the bed. You are buried alive. The silence is the worst part. It is not a quiet silence. It is a thick, suffocating silence. You can feel the weight of the earth pressing down on the roof. You can feel the millions of tons of dirt and stone above you. You are under the city. The carts are rolling overhead, and the people are walking. The life of Rome continues, but you have been erased. You look at the food, the bread, the water. You know you should not eat it. Eating will only prolong the inevitable. It will only give you a few more days of terror in the dark. But the body wants to live. The body fights to survive even when the mind knows it is hopeless. You think about the man they accused you with, the supposed lover. His fate was brutal. He was likely flogged to death in the Forum. It was bloody and public and agonizing. But it was over in hours. He is gone. His pain is finished. Yours is just beginning. Time loses its meaning in the dark. You do not know if it is day or night. You do not know if you have been down here for hours or days. You sleep and wake up to the same darkness. You pace the small room. 3 steps one way and 3 steps back. The air grows stale. It gets harder to breathe. The lamp runs low on oil. You watch the flame. It is ironic. You spent your life tending a fire that could never go out. Now, you are watching a fire that must go out. The psychology of the tomb is a slow poison. At first, you wait. You wait for a rescue that you know is impossible. You listen for the sound of digging. You strain your ears against the silence, hoping to hear a voice. But there is nothing. Just the settling of the earth. Just the beating of your own heart. Then comes the bargaining. You pray to Vesta. You pray to Jupiter. You pray to the spirits of your ancestors. You promise them anything. You promise to be better, and you promise to be pure. You scream into the dark until your voice is raw. You beg for air, and you beg for light. You beg for death. The darkness is not empty. Your mind begins to fill it. You start to see shapes in the shadows. You see the faces of the priests who condemned you. You see the face of your father turning away. You see the faces of the other Vestals who stood by and said nothing. The guilt they projected onto you begins to feel real. You wonder if perhaps you did sin. Perhaps a thought was impure. Perhaps a glance was too lingering. The mind breaks under the weight of the silence. The lamp is the only clock you have. You measure your life in drops of oil. You try to ration it. You turn the wick down until it is just a blue speck. But physics is relentless. The oil burns. The level drops. When the lamp finally flickers and dies, the darkness is total. It is a physical weight. It presses against your eyes. You start to hear things. You hear voices. You hear the prayers you used to sing. You hear the voice of the high priest. You hear the laughter of children. You are no longer in a room. You are in a void. You lose the sense of where your body ends and the dark begins. You reach out to touch the wall just to remind yourself that you exist. The damp earth crumbles under your fingers. It smells of rot. It smells of the end. Hunger begins to gnaw at you. Thirst becomes a burning fire in your throat. You look at the pitcher of milk. You drink it not because you want to, but because instinct forces you to. It tastes sour. The bread is dry and hard. Every mouthful is a betrayal of your desire to die. You wonder if anyone remembers you. You wonder if your father still weeps, or has he wiped your name from the family records? You are a pollution. You are a curse. It is better to forget you. They have probably already chosen your replacement, a new 6-year-old girl with wide, innocent eyes. She is dressed in the white robes right now. She is being told how lucky she is. She is being told about the honor and the glory. She does not know about the room under the earth. She does not know about the darkness. The air runs out slowly. It is not a sudden suffocation. It is a gradual thickening. The carbon dioxide builds up in the small chamber. Your head begins to throb. Your limbs feel heavy as lead. Every breath takes effort. You are panting even though you are lying still. The panic fades into lethargy. The terror gives way to a strange calm. You lie down on the bed. You feel the cold dampness of the earth seeping into your bones. You are returning to the Mother Goddess. You are returning to the soil. You close your eyes, even though it makes no difference in the dark. You drift into a sleep that is deeper than sleep. You dream of the sun. You dream of the wind in the atrium. You dream of the fire. Not the dying flame of your lamp, but the eternal fire of Vesta. The fire that burns while you freeze. You feel the last trace of Rome in the air above you. Then the earth closes, and the city you served forgets how to say your name. It is a death that is designed to be worse than death. It is not just the ending of a life. It is the unmaking of a person. The Vestal Virgins were the pride of Rome. They were the most powerful women in the ancient world. They had rights and privileges that other women could only dream of. They could drive in carriages, while other women had to walk. They were entrusted with the wills of Caesar and the treaties of the state. They were the pivot point upon which the luck of the empire turned. But this power was a trap. It was a golden chain. They were symbols, and symbols are dangerous things to be. A symbol does not have feelings. A symbol does not have flaws. A symbol is either perfect or it is broken. And if it is broken, it must be discarded. Rome created a punishment that blended religion and law and terror into a perfect nightmare. They used the Vestal's body to save their own souls. They buried their fears underground so they would not have to look at them. When we study history, we often look at the monuments. We look back at the glory of Rome. We see the marble columns and the victorious legions marching in triumph. We see the grandeur of the emperors and the vastness of the map, but we must also see the darkness beneath the grandeur. We must see the small underground chamber at the Colline Gate. We must remember that for the Vestal Virgins, purity was not just a virtue, it was a matter of life and death. Their bodies were the battlefield where the anxieties of an empire were fought. When the reigns failed or the wars were lost, it was not the generals who were blamed. It was the women. And when the empire felt threatened, it was the woman who paid the price. She paid with her name. She paid with her breath. She paid with the long, slow silence of the tomb. She was left to wait in the dark, alone, forgotten, until the air ran out and the gods did not come to save her. We tell these stories not just to remember the dead, but to understand the living. We tell them to understand the cost of perfection and the weight of symbols. If you want to uncover more lost stories of the ancient world and the people who are sacrificed to build it, then make sure you are subscribed to Requiem of Thrones. Tell us in the comments which empire you want us to explore next. Rome is gone, but the shadows it cast are long. And in the dark of history, we can still hear the echo of the earth falling.